How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Show, Lakers Live post-game show. I'm here along with Manny. Manny, how's it going, man? How was your night?
It's going good. Night could have been better. It was a terrible game, but let's get this show on the road and let's talk about the problems that we had tonight as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Lakers just did not play great. We're sitting here talking about the Lakers game tonight. Lakers Live post-game show. Lakers going to lose this game 111-96. Where do we start with this game? Obviously, a lot went wrong with this game. The Lakers just look, from the start, it just looks like we just weren't in sync. We just did not look like we had our best energy. And you know what? To be honest, watching this game, kind of felt like they put everything out, all the energy that they had in that Brooklyn game. And I get it. What a great win it was for them to beat the Nets. They were playing as the underdogs, obviously, with the Lakers being banged up as much as they've been without their key superstars. That was a great win, but I feel like, they just had a hangover from this game, and from the Brooklyn game to the New York game. They just did not play great. Obviously, turned the ball over, over 20, 25 times is just not going to get your job done. And the score says it all, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that. We played our heart and soul out on Saturday. We had a very dominating win without LeBron and AD, without Kuzma, without Dudley, without Wesley Matthews, and so on and so forth. And we wasted our energy on that game, and that's why we lost tonight. It didn't help, obviously, that we didn't have LeBron and AD with us, because we were playing a very healthy Knicks team. But honestly, I got to give my credit where credit is due. The Knicks played very, very well, and especially shout out to former Laker young core player Julius Randle. He had an amazing game. He played like a monster tonight. A game that we would have thought that like Andre Drummond possibly would have played, but obviously he didn't. But Julius Randle, let's talk a bit about him actually. 34 points, 10 rebounds. He even had 4 assists. He actually attempted 6 3-pointers, made 2 of them. Not too bad for a power forward, in my opinion. Alfred Payton as well. I know he didn't take any threes, but he had 20 points. Shot 9 for 12. Very good percentage. That's like fucking like 60% from the field, pretty much. Sorry about for my language there, but yeah, I'm not very happy with this game because I just feel like we could have played better. We had 33% from the three. I don't think we shot very well from the 3-point line at all. Kyle Kuzma, I think, shot way too many threes. He had 9. He took 9 threes tonight, 2 for 9 from the 3, and shot 5 for 13. Kuzma, I guess this was your first game back. I know you didn't play on Saturday. This is your first game back since Friday, but in my opinion, sorry, Thursday. But I just think like you could have played better. Don't shoot many shots. Like if you're not making them, if you're not making your shots. Try like playmaking a little bit. I've seen your passing this year. Your passing is actually immensely improved. Your defense is also improved. Try playing some defense. Try passing the ball. Try rebounding a little more. Because you had no assists and you only had 4 rebounds. I think you could have contributed a lot more than just shooting the ball if you're missing shots a bunch of times. But I gotta admit, shout out to Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder actually played very well. He had 21 points. He had 6 assists. Shot 7 for 13 from the field. 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. Like, he had a very good game. He also had a very good game on Saturday. Shout out to him. He's actually been surprising us because a lot of Laker fans, including myself and maybe even you, we've actually been like critiquing Dennis Schroeder a bit because he hasn't been playing the best in the past few games. But since Saturday, it seems like he's like showed a bit of his rhythm coming in. And KCP, he's been shooting very well from the field at least. He shot 5 for 10, 50%. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 2 for 4 from the 3. But one problem I had was our bench, I think, played very, very bad. I think most of our blame tonight was on Kuzma, and it was also on the bench. But another thing I got to bring up, Aaron, is Frank Vogel actually has been surprising me the past 2 games, and not in the good way. And I'll tell you why. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of Marc Gasol, like, I feel like he could have helped us in a little better way on Saturday and tonight because How many minutes did he even play? Let me go check this out. Actually, he only played 5 minutes. He's supposed to be our backup center, and he only played 5 freaking minutes. Like, like, come on, Frankie. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. Like, I get maybe Montrezl Harrell wants to be the backup center, but he's undersized. As much as I love Trez, he's my boy. He's too undersized. You can't put him in the paint against guys like, I know Mitchell Robinson wasn't playing tonight for the Knicks, but can you imagine if like a big guy like Mitchell Robinson was playing for the Knicks tonight? He would have bullied the hell out of Montrezl Harrell. Like we need like our 2 7-footers on the court. If Andre Drummond isn't on the court, Aaron, we have to have like Marcus Gasol being the backup. And if Frank Vogel, you're watching this, which you're probably not, you gotta do better rotations than that. Like that was like some Luke Walton stuff you were pulling out. I didn't like that.
You know when something wasn't right when you mentioned Luke Walton in a statement, and we obviously know how you felt about him. Obviously, shout out to Medina. Medina, spot on with the comments as well. Medina couldn't make the show tonight. She is always missed when she is not available to come. But I definitely will say I was kind of shocked. I've been kind of shocked about how Vogel's been handling the rotation. We could talk about the rotation for a minute. I get it. We've talked about Marcus Gasol. You gotta play, you gotta balance out the minutes here. And I think honestly, when it comes to the Lakers and it comes to the talent that they have, obviously, I'm kind of been shocked that they've had Alfonso McKinney playing. Rather putting in. I get it. You want to put somebody else in because of some of the injuries, but this is when you say, you know what? Let's go big. The Lakers can go big. The Lakers have the talent to have Marcus Gasol if they wanted to. They could theoretically have 3 guys in there. They could have, if they wanted to really go big in blocking shots, they could literally have a game where you put Montrezl Harrell with Gasol, Montrezl Harrell with Andre Drummond, or honestly, put Montrezl Harrell you could put him at the 3 if you want to. If you really, really, really want to get creative, you could put all 3 of them in the game together. They could actually get in the game if it was serious, and if it was a defense perspective on a game, like you needed to win this game and it was big against big, like you got someone that you could use it for. I'm not saying they are going to do it, but you know what's your take on these rotations we've seen? I don't feel like McKinney should be playing as much. I feel like I think they need to re-examine a little bit more of the lineups. I think Marcus Gasol, I mean, look, I know you were very big on him not playing much.
Yep.
But I mean, come on, 5 minutes in the game, like you said, it's got to change here. You can't just bring him in for 5 minutes and let him play unless he couldn't play a lot of minutes. We don't know what happens. We don't have that knowledge to know what is going on behind the scenes. Maybe he just wanted to play a little bit to see how he felt, which could be the case. There is that possibility, but still, like if you're feeling up for it and you want to play, you got to play it. Get him out there at least 15 minutes, at least 15, 20 minutes at the most. He's still a veteran, and you still got to treat him that way.
Absolutely. Like the fact that like our team is built with veterans, we have to have our veterans getting big minutes. I'm not saying like playing like 20, 30 minutes a game. I'm not trying to say that, but I agree with what you said, Aaron.
Yeah.
Like we have like at least like 15, 17 minutes is doable as a backup. Like he should be at least like the sixth, like this, not maybe not the 6th man, but at least like the 7th or 8th man in the rotation, like playing at least like 15, 17 minutes. Like you can't, like I said before, you can't have like Montrezl Harrell in the paint guarding guys that are like 4 or 5 inches taller than him. Yeah, Medina's right. He made a huge difference in those 5 minutes when he played, and Vogel took him out. He took him right out of the game, and I was watching on TV, and I'm like, Vogel, what the hell are you doing? Like, and which is like you said, Aaron, it's not good for mentioning Luke Walton. As much as I despise him as a coach, I wrote a tweet today. He was the worst coach in Laker history. And that was something that I saw. Sorry to interrupt you, but
you're good.
That's what I saw. Like this game, like those rotations were boggling my mind. Like I felt like I lost brain cells when I saw him do that. I was like, what are you doing, bro?
I mean, you know, in the end of the day, though, shout out to Vince. Always shout out to Vince here. You're
Shout out
always
to
in the
Vince.
comments. I appreciate you, my brother.
Facts.
He's right. Look, it's the Knicks, man. Obviously we're gonna bounce back. The Knicks. I gotta give credit to the Knicks though. They got a good team. I feel like when they got Derrick Rose, it just helped them out. They already had scoring, but now they have a guy that's a playmaker as well. And we know when he wants to get hot, he can get hot from like a snap of a finger, no problem. But honestly, their whole team, their whole starters, everybody played great in that game. Obviously, Peyton was a huge piece of that. Elfrid Payton, the dude has got a future right there. I mean,
Yep.
the Knicks seriously have great pieces together, and I'm happy to see them competing. Obviously, I'm happy for the city of New York to have the New York Knicks be somewhat competitive. Obviously, the record is what it is, and yes, they have Brooklyn as well, but I'm just happy to see them playing better. Obviously, they've gone through a lot of miserable seasons before in the past where it's been absolutely blowout after blowout after blowout seasons. So they got some good pieces here, and I feel like if that team kind of keeps what they have, they could be very much competitive in the East.
Oh, absolutely. I've been to New York about 5 times in my life, and that city lives and breeds basketball. Like, I'll admit, like the Yankees will always be the number one team, like in fanhood and popularity in the city of New York. But the second team in that city, it's not even close. The second team in that city is the Knicks by far. Like and that's because the reason why they're not number one is because the Knicks haven't been winning. They've always been like the laughing stock of the NBA. I remember how much. I'll admit it. I was kind of a part of that, where I was clowning them for trading Porzingis. But look, their core is very, very nice. They have R.J. Barrett has been balling out. I know he didn't look good tonight, but he's been balling out this season. Mitchell Robinson hasn't been healthy. Imagine if he was healthy. They also have this rookie who's been on a tear, Obi Toppin. He's been very good. Like, the Knicks' young core is finally looking respectable, and as much as I am a diehard Laker fan, I love the NBA as a whole. If you have a team like the Knicks that's competing, that's great for the sport because they're the number one market in sports. New York, the city of New York, is the number one market in sports. If you have a team in the tri-state area that is competing, that is big business, and sorry if I'm going to go off topic here with another.
You're good.
With another sport, but I believe it was in the NHL that there was the Rangers and the Kings that were in the Stanley Cup Finals, and that's the number one and number two markets in sports, New York and Los Angeles. Can you imagine if we had that in the NBA? If we imagine we have a Brooklyn Lakers NBA Finals this year, that would be such a moneymaker. Adam Silver would be like full of giddy and full of joy for how much money he would have in his pocket. I know he's already a multi-millionaire, but can you imagine how much money he would generate? It would be big for the NBA if we had that.
Oh yeah. Honestly, anything that's related to LA and the city of New York, anything that goes on there. It's gonna always be a great game, no matter what happens. Obviously, we don't know where playoffs look. We don't know where the finals look. We can only assume that there is a good chance it could happen. It could also not happen. I mean, you still have you have to get to the playoffs. You have to win in the playoffs, and you have to get to the finals. So, there's steps along the way. It's not an automatic guarantee. But honestly, I think Adam Silver would be really saying like, wow, it's a real moneymaker for me. And hopefully by then, fans will be 100% packed in that stadium and the arenas, and everybody can have their home base, filled with the energy and the crowd, which really does a lot. But honestly, let's get back in this game a little bit. I didn't expect, honestly, the Lakers to come out the way they did. I expected it to be a little bit more competitive. They really just look checked out. They look like they didn't really care about this game. I get it because they have another game to play as well. But, I just didn't see that energy tonight. And, obviously my boy Drummond let me down tonight. 3 points, man. And I'm sure if this game was on TNT, I know for a fact Shaq would say, "What's wrong with you? If you're gonna suit up for the purple and gold, it's 25 and 15 or bust." And he's a guy that knows, like, if you're a center for the Lakers, or essentially any LA big teams, you got to come out there and compete. It's plain and simple. You got to come out there. You were great in Brooklyn. He had a tremendous game out there. I was hoping to honestly see him go even more. I thought he was honestly going to go for 25 and 15. I mean, look, he got 10 rebounds too. So he was great on the defensive end. It's just that offensive end. I feel like also with Montrezl Harrell tonight, Bill and Stu were mentioning that they were really making things miserable if they could for the Lakers inside the paint. Obviously, they didn't see as much touches as they did in that Brooklyn game, and that kind of says the difference between obviously the two teams. One was more of a defensive-minded game, and one was a more of an offensive-minded game, and the Lakers were able to make Brooklyn pay on that end, and the Knicks were able to make the Lakers pay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought up the defensive and the offensive because you can tell the two differences between Saturday and tonight. Because Saturday, you can tell Brooklyn has one of the worst defenses in all of basketball because we just feasted on them. We were making our shots. We were driving to the lane easily. And then tonight, one of my boys that lives here in Montreal, I went to college with him. Shout out to you, Jonte. He's a big Knicks fan, and he was telling me on Twitter that Knicks have the number one defense. Don't sleep. You guys do, because you held us down to 96 points. We didn't even score 100 tonight, so you can tell that we were playing like a very offensive hungry team in Brooklyn, and then a very defensive hungry team in the Knicks. Because I know we didn't have LeBron and AD, but that's no excuse. We can't keep doing that narrative, Laker Nation, that we're like, oh, we lost because we didn't have LeBron and AD, because we wanted Brooklyn on Saturday. But honestly, you can tell between the defense and the offense. Like, we played a very good defensive team. I know we're very good defensively, but they're just a little better than us at defense. Hence why we couldn't get to 100. But the shooting was horrible. I'm glad you brought up Drummond because he looked totally checked out, totally out of it. Like, the fact that you're only taking 3 shots, like, Drummond, we ended up signing you off the buyout market because we're like, you're going to be our starting center. Marcus Gasol is going to take a little step back. He's going to be the backup guy now. But really, you only took 3 shots. I get the 10 rebounds, but like you said, if you're a center in the purple and gold, whether it's the Shaqs of the world, whether it's the World Chamberlains of the world, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars of the world, the Pau Gasols of the world, you can't come down looking like
Andrew
that.
Bynum.
And Andrew Bynum. I remember Andrew Bynum, how good he was before his injury.
Of course, except for his knees,
Except for his knees, yeah. Sucks he had to get injured. But he was great, Andrew Bynum. I liked him. But back to what I was saying with the big centers. Yeah. If you're a big center on the Lakers, a big name center, you gotta perform. I don't care if you're playing the last place Minnesota Timberwolves or the first place Utah Jazz. You gotta come out hungry every night. You can't just take 3 shots. I don't care if you shoot like 4 for 10 from the field. As long as you're actually like getting touches in the game and you're actually just like being aggressive on the court. Like yes, I know I critique Kuzma tonight for shooting 5 for 13 and 2 for 9, but at least he like tried to shoot the ball. At least he had 14 points. I know he didn't have great percentages, but at least he tried to be aggressive even though he didn't shoot great. Drummond, I gotta see more from you, bro. You showed me a lot in that Brooklyn game. In that Brooklyn game, I was very hype about Drummond. I was like, this is the reason why we got him. This is the reason why guys like Aaron was telling me that like, Manny, watch out for Drummond. He is the real deal. He's really, really good. And we saw that on Saturday, but tonight. Didn't see that from him, and it is what it is. I'm hoping tomorrow we see a great big man matchup between Drummond and Gordon Hayward, because those two have big size, and it's going to be a great matchup between them. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But Drummond didn't have a good game, and not much to say about that.
Yeah. The Lakers got to turn around quickly. Let's kind of pre-talk a little bit about it. Quick turnaround. Got to play tomorrow. Back-to-backs. We know. Obviously, in the past, it's been a challenge sometimes with the Lakers with back-to-backs. It's fatigue. It's tiredness. It's everything. It's on a long road trip. Don't get me wrong. When you're gone for a while, it takes a toll on you. Obviously, the Grammy trip is the big winner when it comes to that. But they got to turn this around, and it starts with tomorrow. And really, study. I'm sure they are going to look at this, and they're going to see. They made some easy mistakes to fix tomorrow within the next 24 hours. I expect to see a more defensive-minded team tonight. I better not see 25 turnovers. I mean, I'm just saying it straight up here. 25 turnovers is not going to get you to win the game.
Yep.
If they don't come out firing on all cylinders, don't count this Hornets team out. I'm not ever going to count them out. I don't care if LaMelo isn't playing. They still got Gordon Hayward. They're still a good team. You still got to go out there and play. It doesn't matter who it is. Y'all have heard me say this before. It doesn't matter if they're the worst record in the league. It doesn't matter if they have the second best record in the league. Whatever it would be, you got to come out there. You got to play better.
Yes.
Quick turnarounds, and let's get it done tomorrow.
Absolutely. I love what you said about the Hornets, that don't sleep on them. I get that LaMelo Ball is out for the year, but have you guys seen Miles Bridges, how he's been looking the past few games? This guy can hoop. Not only has he always been a consistent player in his NBA career, but the dunks that he does are insane, Aaron. I'm not even joking. I don't know if you saw the last game that the Hornets played, but he threw it down hard on one of these plays that he did. I forgot what analyst said it, but he has a point. He might have the best hops since Vince Carter. I really, really like his dunking game. He reminds me of when we used to have Larry Nance. Remember Larry Nance on the Lakers when he had those flashy dunks every night?
Oh, of course.
That's the thing. They have guys like him. They have Devontae Graham. They have Terry Rozier. The Hornets are actually a very good team. I think they're I might be mistaken, but I think they're the 5 or the 6 seed this year. They're actually a surprising team. I thought they were going to be in the lottery this year, but they're really, really playing great. Shout out to James Borrego. He's been a very good coach. He's been coaching them very, very well. And I know we always shout out Vince in the show, but Vince always tells me coaching matters in sports. And that's why the Hornets are doing so good. I get their roster is very young, but their coaching is doing very, very well. James Borrego is coaching them very, very well. So we can't take the Hornets lightly. I feel like that they can probably beat us. I hope we win. I like Medina says. Like she just said right now, Lakers always come back strong after a terrible game. We do. Yeah. Absolutely we do. But we can't take the Hornets lightly. They have firepower. They have 3-point shooters. There's even Malik Monk that can shoot from the 3. So if I'm gonna do an early key to the game for tomorrow's game, I'm gonna say that we need to defend the 3 because those guys can shoot the lights out of the ball. So we gotta be prepared for them.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts is this game was horrible. I think we're gonna bounce back. I'm hoping we're gonna bounce back. I think we're gonna win tomorrow night by a score of 195. We're gonna have a very defensive game. We're gonna bounce back from that. Drummond's gonna bounce back because I feel like Drummond can do better than that. There was one off game. Media, you wanna talk media to tomorrow on Undisputed and First Day? Go right ahead. It was one loss. We don't really care. Do your thing, media. Go ahead and talk. Montrezl Harrell's going to bounce out because Montrezl Harrell. Actually, one thing I gotta talk about my boy Trez. Um, you're not safe from this either. You had a horrid, and I mean horrid game. You didn't even make a shot, Montrezl Harrell. You were 0 for 4, and you only had 2 rebounds, and you had 2 personal fouls. I'm sorry, but I feel like you can do better than that, Trez. You showed me a lot of good games this year, and that's why I've been rooting for you hard, bro. But tonight, you looked like trash. And just because I'm a big supporter of Trez doesn't mean I'm not going to hold him accountable. Laker Nation, I hold everybody accountable. So, Trez, you're watching this or probably not. Step up next game, because next game I'm going to come way harder for you.
All right. That's going to do it for us for Lakers Live post-game show. Tune in. There may or may not be a pregame show. That'll be determined. Make sure you are following our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Also the Twitter account as well, for all the news and updates related to when we are going live. That's going to do it for us tonight for Lakers Live postgame show. For Manny, Medina, and myself, I'm Aaron, signing off for the night. We will catch you guys tomorrow for the Lakers and the Hornets. Take care, everybody, and have a good night.
Peace.